Last month I watched a variety of different movies. Some were some older movies or had really small budgets, and others were the newest, biggest movies such as Dune, which hasn't even come out in the US yet. I started the month off with The Truman Show, and I'm really glad I watched it because I'm usually not a big Jim Carrey fan, at least like as a comedic actor. But in dramatic movies such as this or The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I think he's a really good actor. And yeah, a great performance in this movie. And just in general, I like the concept of the film, and it just kind of made you think about certain things. My parents then showed me the female buddy movie Thelma and Louise. I had a great time watching this movie. I thought both characters were played really well, and they just went well together, and because of that they created more conflicts and things just kind of kept escalating towards the end. Many regard Carnival of Souls as a classic horror movie, and I'd agree with that. It came out in '62, and what I like about this movie is just the uneasy feeling that it sets. You and the main character always have this feeling of, being watched or being chased by someone, or yeah, this spirit, I guess it is, in there that keeps appearing. So yeah, I think this was a really entertaining and good horror movie. I definitely enjoyed this much more than most horror movies nowadays. When I first heard about the movie Stalker by the Russian director Andrei Tarkovsky, I saw a picture of this scene. What intrigues me about this image is that when I was a kid, maybe around 6 or 7, this place appeared to me in a dream. The movie takes place in this post-apocalyptic world, and there's this so-called zone with a room that if you enter into there, your innermost desires will be fulfilled. This movie was very special, and I really enjoyed its atmosphere because everything looked normal, but you knew that the zone is something very dangerous and mysterious, and yeah, I just had a great time watching it. Of course, I have to go buy the movie as a Criterion Collection. Another great movie that I watched last month that I now also own as a Criterion Collection is Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters by Paul Schrader. It tells the fascinating and partially controversial life story of Yukio Mishima. He was at the time Japan's best known writer. He wrote many great successful books. Later on he would then also write plays for theater pieces. He was a bodybuilder, an actor, and eventually he would create his own nationalist militia. Many of his books contained personal events that really happened to him, and because of that they could create this biography by playing out the 4 chapters from 4 different books. During filming, there were many threats by the followers of Mishima who were threatening the crew members and the publishers of the movie. And yeah, because Mishima is a controversial topic in Japan still to this day, the movie was never officially released in its home country. Next, I watched The Squid and the Whale. It's the first movie by Noah Baumbach that he directed, and it reminded me a lot of his latest work, Marriage Story. The difference is, it has to do with family and the divorce that separates that family, but in this film you saw the events more through the eyes of the children. I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as Marriage Story, but the writing was still really good in it. The Killing of a Sacred Deer is another A24 film that is very unique. Just the setting that it plays in, the feeling. There was always just this unsettling feeling looming in the air, and you just didn't know how the story would end or how it would go on. It reminded me a lot of the movies by Stanley Kubrick. Just the camera work and the cinematography was in some shots or some scenes very similar and created just this certain tension. I will definitely rewatch this movie sometime in the future. A French movie I've been wanting to see for some months now is La Piscine. It stars the beautiful actress Romy Schneider and Alain Delon. The landscape of the French Riviera and the house that they live in, and just the chemistry between the two actors just creates this very wonderful and hot atmosphere. That was definitely the best part about the movie, but I must say I also enjoyed the story of just kind of that love triangle that they had. The big sci-fi movie Dune came out in Switzerland during mid-September, and so I went to go watch it immediately. I had a great time going back to the movies. I haven't been there for probably over a year now, and yeah, it was just a really cool movie to watch on the big screen. Great sound in there and very exciting. In the past few months, I've become a big fan of Mexican cinema, and so I decided to watch Alejandro G. Iñárritu's first feature film, Amores Perros. The movie is told in 3 different stories, and the thing that connects them all is a car crash that happens. What they also have in common is that dogs appear in all of them, and each story shows the relationship between dogs and humans a bit differently. And yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I'm also just looking forward to watching more Mexican movies. By now, I have seen almost all of Martin Scorsese's films, and so I was excited to watch After Hours. It's one of those movies where something bad happens to the character, and just the decisions they keep on making after that just makes everything worse and worse and just drives the character into total madness, and everything just escalates. Yeah, it's one of those movies. I had a really great time watching it. There were some fun moments in there. It was exciting, and yeah, sometimes you're just asking like, why are you doing that, protagonist? Every now and then I really enjoy watching a courtroom drama, and Anatomy of a Murder is probably one of the best courtroom dramas. What differentiates this movie from other courtroom dramas is that it is really just focused on the case itself. There's not much drama going on outside of the courtroom, and I thought that was really nice. Like, yeah, obviously there was a lot of talking going on, and with a runtime of like 2.5 hours, you think it will feel long, but the movie actually went by really fast. The writing was great, it was still very exciting, and the movie was also much funnier than I expected it to be. The last movie I watched in September was Le Samouraï, also featuring the French actor Alain Delon. The title might be a bit misleading because no samurai appear in this film, and it's about a hitman. After he completes one of the jobs, the police make him their main suspect, and because of that, some complications are caused with his employer, and therefore he just needs to watch his every move. Yeah, the police and his employer are kind of chasing him, and yeah, I had a great time watching it. Alright, those were the movies I watched last month. Now let's get into my recommendations. My first recommendation goes to the Russian movie Stalker. Obviously it feels somewhat personal to me because I had a dream about it, but aside from that, I also just find it's a really good movie. There's really nothing like it, and just this dangerous and unique atmosphere that you have in there, yeah, is really a great watch. The second recommendation goes to Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. Yeah, it's a very interesting subject in Japanese history, and I find it fascinating that this movie could even be made and showed, at least in most countries. And my third recommendation goes to anyone who loves and miss summer like I do. I would recommend to watch La Piscine. Alright, let me know which of these films y'all have seen and how y'all like them, and I'll see y'all next month.